Guys, I did it. I freaking did it. I won the 2021 USA Memory Championship. My 5th title. Yeah, before you say anything, this is the trophy for the championship. No, it is not a bong. And yes, it is a seahorse. Now, why is it a seahorse? Well, because the hippocampus looks like the shape of the seahorse. Yeah. Anyways, so what's become kind of a tradition is for me to kind of react to me reacting from previous Memory Championship recaps. Now, I think this video is probably gonna be less interesting than the last 2 videos I did where I talked about losing again, and then before that, losing again, because now I won. So I always find it more interesting when you lose than when you win. But whatever. At the very least, this will be a recap of what happened at the 2021 USA Memory Championship. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start with what happened and how the championship rolled out this year. Basically, this year, we had qualifiers earlier in the year, and that had some Lumosity games, some Memory League games, and then the top people got invited to Orlando where they were gonna have the finals, which was kind of similar to the style that they did it in 2018, where they had a qualifier and then a separate finals at MIT. That is also the one that I got kicked out of the first round and totally bombed. So that already got me pretty nervous because I had some kind of PTSD of just showing up and then getting eliminated in the first round. Anyways, we showed up to Orlando and there were gonna be 4 events. Okay, the first one was gonna be Words to Remember, which is basically memorize as many words as you can, and then a few people get eliminated if you get it wrong. The next one was long-term memory, where we had to memorize some information, tons of information that they gave us a month prior, and we'd be quizzed on it. Then it was gonna be a tea party event, which they've always had, where people come up on stage, say stuff about themselves, and we gotta say it right. Name, date, they were born, their spouse's name, hobbies, all that kind of jazz. Then the finals, if you make it that far, the top 3 get to a point where they have to memorize 2 decks of cards, and it's elimination style. Last person standing, crown the champion. So I prepared. I was training a lot. You know, what took up most of my time was memorizing the long-term events. We'll get to that in a little bit. So I walked in feeling pretty good. You know, I had done what I needed to do. The long-term stuff I knew really well. I had trained that really hard. And the double deck of cards, I always made sure that I could do the double deck in 3 minutes, even though we get 5 minutes. And that is a great feeling to have when you're going into the finals, knowing you can do it faster than the time allotted. Now, who was there? John Graham, of course, the winner of 2018, and probably my biggest competition. He's very good. Lance Shearhart, the defending champion from 2019, was supposed to be there as well. For whatever reason, he didn't show up. I don't know. And then there was Grace. She was in the finals in 2019 as well. And who else was there from? Oh, Kyle was there. He was a former competitor from the past. Matt Wilson, that might have been it. I think everybody else was a newcomer, people who joined because of Lumosity or for whatever reason. So a big new playing field, but a few people that I know and had to be concerned about. So we started with the Lumosity game that helped us choose our seating. Now this would come into play hugely. I had no idea that this would actually save me and give me the I wouldn't say give me, help me win the championship. Unknowingly. Anyways, first event, Words to Remember. I go backstage and I felt pretty good about this. Back in 2018, I tried to memorize all of them because we had 2 strikes instead of 1. And I thought, well, if we have 2 strikes, then people are gonna try to memorize a shit ton. And that wasn't the case. Everybody did kind of the same amount. So I kind of shot myself in the foot. This time, like I did in 2019, I was super safe. I went for 130. I actually looked at 140 words, but the last 10 were kind of like nonchalant. I knew 100 super well. I knew 120 to 130 very well. And surprisingly, it only went to like the 45th word or something like that. It was crazy. We got through that, felt great. Then we went into the long-term event, which again, I had practiced so hard. I'm gonna do a separate video on that, on how I did that. But essentially we had to memorize all the US Winter Olympic gold medalists and their disciplines and all that stuff. The whole entire periodic table of elements. I love that stuff. A lot of numbers, science. Finally, the other category was the history of Pulitzer Prize winners for poetry. I hated that because it was just a bunch of names and a bunch of really stupid poem titles. Ugh. Anyways, I studied them really well. I felt really good. I've been tested up my butt to the point where I just knew this stuff. It went around a few times. People were actually getting stuff wrong more than I thought, and I actually got two really easy questions. Where were the 1952 Olympics held? Where were the 1976 Olympics held? Something like that. No, 1948 and 1976, which was St. Switzerland and Innsbruck, Austria. And that's it. I studied thousands of bits of data just for those two questions. It was a bit frustrating, to be honest, because I had prepared way too much for that. Anyways, we moved on to the tea party, and that's when things went wholly disastrous. It's often a sticking point, I think, of the championship. I hope that gets fixed and that some of the memory athletes, including myself, can kind of come together and figure out how to do this event properly, because it's not being done properly. This year they tried to, instead of have live people come on stage, which is always a disaster because people speak in different tones, they speak at different speeds, they don't stick to the script, which we're trying to memorize something and they're saying something different. So this time they recorded the videos. Great. And the idea was that we would listen to the videos again, but with the information written in front of us, and then we would get 5 extra minutes to study. Now, the audio was bad. It echoed in the room. Some of the people spoke faster, some spoke slower, some had clear voices, some didn't. And then the fourth person of the 4 people that were presenting had a really, really, really difficult voice to understand. And I don't know if I'll understand why they chose that person for an event like this, where speaking clearly and enunciating clearly is, the ultimate concern, especially for us competitors. So what I did, as I was listening to this person speak, I honestly had to zone out because I couldn't understand what the person was saying. And I just started reviewing the previous 3 people. I said, okay, if I can get those 3 people perfect, there's a 1 in 4 chance that they're gonna start with that person I didn't study. I'll take those chances, because chances are other people are not getting this information either, or they're getting it not very well. So if I can know the other stuff way better than anybody, then chances are I'll get one of those people and I'll do really well. Nope. Of course, it started the recall with that 4th person. And my heart sank as soon as I figured that out. And because of my seating, we start with the name, then we go to the birthday, then we go to where they live, then we go to their alma mater and all that stuff. I didn't know what I was gonna get, okay? Person said the name. Actually, they showed the name, so that was a mistake. So they had to start with the birthday. I think the first person got the birthday wrong, so the next person had to say that. I think they got it wrong, so the next person had to say that. Then the next person got where they live, their city, state, and zip code. And then it was my turn to say the alma mater. Now, even though I had said I wasn't gonna study this guy, I was gonna focus on the other 3 people, at the last minute of memorization, I said to myself, you know what? Let me at least look at the name, the birthday, up to the alma mater, just in case, at least I have some information. So thankfully I did that. And it was Stanford University, Aerospace Engineering. And then I knew it was May, and then I froze on the year. It was hanging on. I knew it was 19 something. And usually the information makes sense for the person, and it was an older gentleman. So at first in my mind, I was like, okay, it's 1988. I was picturing my friend Robert, that's 88. That's the image for him. But he seemed too old for that to be when he graduated. So, and then suddenly, as my time limit was ending, I said, it came to me, it was Batman, a red Batman. May is red, 1973 is Batman. And I said, okay, 1973. And I almost voiced, I was like, okay, it's wrong. But they said it was right. And I was like, oh my God, I just dodged a bullet. This is literally the only piece of information that I know, and I got it. Now, it's just a waiting game. And everybody got X's. Everybody got things wrong. You get 3 strikes in this event. So someone got it wrong, someone got it wrong. Then we started over again from the beginning. Wrong, 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 wrong. One girl got it right. My turn, I just said pass because I didn't know. And we went around and we went around. I said pass again. So I had 2 strikes, but 3 or 4 other people had 2 strikes too. So because of my seating, it was gonna go around through those people before it hit me. And if they didn't know, they were out. And if 3 people were out, I was safe. And that's what happened. I've never gotten through the Tea Party event knowing just one fact about one person. And it just really landed on the fact that I knew the right thing and I was sitting in the right spot. Well, and I guess that other people didn't know stuff too, I guess. I should give some credit there, but wow. My heart was in my chest. John Graham got kicked out, the 2018 champion, and I felt so bad for him because I knew we all had the same problem with this one person who couldn't speak the information correctly. But anyways, next was the finals. There I was again. It was me, Kyle, and Grace. Grace and Kyle, I know that they're not great at cards, but at the same time, maybe they had improved. I didn't know. I usually train to do both decks, and I feel comfortable doing that in 5 minutes. But suddenly I felt very nervous. I was questioning, should I do it that way or should I not? Should I be a little safer and just do a deck and a half? Because I don't need to do the 2 decks, I think. You know, I went for both decks. I stuck to what I knew. Unfortunately, in my mental review before we started reciting the cards, I knew that I had the first deck, but that early on in the second deck, was a bit shaky. There were a couple gaps early on. So if they went past the first deck, I was gonna be screwed. Luckily, Kyle went out on like the 42nd card and Grace went out 2 cards later. You can watch that riveting final few seconds before I won right here.
5 of hearts.
8 of clubs.
9 of spades. Time's out. So over you, Grace.
Okay, Grace. King of clubs.
King of clubs is correct. King of diamonds.
Congratulations, Nelson. I don't know. Congratulations, Nelson.
And there it was. I had won my 5th championship. I was out of my mind. I couldn't believe that after 6 years of trying to win my 5th championship, I was still in the mix. I still did it. Now, granted, it felt like, okay, some was a bit of luck and, you know, but that's always how this championship is. It's talent but also a bit of luck. And what John and I were discussing after we had a beer together is that, you know, you always find that the best person usually wins, or one of the best. You know, you've never had a winner who's like kind of a newbie or someone who's not that great. It's been people who have really trained a lot and practiced a lot and valued the championship and put their whole life on the line for that championship. You know, I think I deserved it after 6 years, especially. I think like I deserved one more. And so I'm very happy that I had that. Anyways, that's how the competition went down. Let's look at this video here and kind of react to how I felt after 2019 when I lost. In that video, I was reacting how I felt in 2018 when I lost. And that one I felt horrible because I didn't really get far. But 2019, I felt a bit better because I made it to the finals within 2 cards of the end of the game. And what more could I have done? And I lost to someone who was really, really good. All right, so let's look at this. So here we are again. I lost again, and I lost again. Now I can say I won again. Nice. And I won this time, mind you, with kids, which you can hear crying in the yard. And yeah, I feel like I just made this video, but here I am making it again. I don't feel like I just made this video. This feels like a lifetime ago, and it was only 2 years ago. Let's jump to the point where I talk about kind of how I feel. So yeah, the difference here is I actually did not know both decks down cold. I was actually pretty rattled. I don't know, because I knew Lance was gonna push me till the end. If it had just been me and the 2 high school students, I would have felt like I had already won. So yeah, maybe this is my age and you know, just my skills declining. It looked like here I didn't have both decks down cold. I definitely didn't have both decks down cold here either, but just goes to show you, anybody who's interested in trying to win the USA Championship, you don't have to be perfect, okay? You just have to be good enough kind of overall and have the stamina and kind of
Strategery.
grit to get through all the events and just outlast everybody. Just because I knew I could do more cards, but with Lance, I knew it was going to be tight. So I was very careful in saying the right card. That was the last thing I wanted to do, was say something wrong. I was not going to lose this on a technicality or a mistake. All the while. So that's interesting. I remember that feeling of just like, I didn't want to say the wrong card. But this time, I knew the first deck and it felt a lot smoother coming out. What I was worried about was finishing the deck and starting that new one and what's going to happen. When were these people going to finish? Here I knew Lance was going till the end, I think, unless he messed up. So that might have been my last USA memory competition. Again, I'm going to react to that because here I am 10 years later from my first win, and here I am. I won again. And 2009 was my first competition. So 2013, 8 years later, I'm still here. Although I think this is it. I really do. I say that now, but I really believe 5 was the number I was looking for. I got it. I don't know if I have anything else to prove. I know I told John that I'd like to compete against him in the finals, but we'll see. We will see. And that is that losing is usually better than winning. Okay? At least in terms of where it takes you next. I like that. Yeah, that's true. Because winning, where will it take you? You're kind of at the top and then can't really go much higher. So yes, I agree with this, and it made total sense last year that the hole I had found myself in, I was pretty upset, was going to only propel me forward. I couldn't really go much lower. So back to this again. Winning is good, losing is better. I still stand by that. And it's different now because I've won, but I feel like I can close this chapter. There's nothing more I really want to do with this. So it's not like I'm stuck, although I know I will have some kind of empty hole within me, which I'll have to figure out how to fill with some other challenge. But it feels like I put a nice bow on this and I can put it away in the closet and just feel good about it. I feel really good about not necessarily this win, but the whole chapter of these 5 wins over 12 years, 13 years, whatever it was. And this loss and the loss before, like, I admire, I know this sounds so fucking full of myself, but it's true. Like, we go through our lives and we have goals and things that we wish we would do, and we have dreams and we try to stick to them. Sometimes we fail, and this is something I just stuck with, and I've been doing it, for so many years. And even since 2015, I've been trying to win that 5th one. 6 years. Losing, and here I am. I admire in myself that I did that, and hopefully that inspires people out there. Like, you're never too old to stage a comeback and to do the thing you want to do. You just got to persevere and stick to the goddamn thing you want to get done. God damn it. Just stick to it. Honestly, that's what I said in a couple of videos ago. When we want to talk about happiness and fulfillment, it's sticking to the things long term. Because here I am, I'm getting chills when I talk about this, but I feel happy. I really feel happy. And not just like, I ate a candy bar and I'm sugar rush happy. It's like really deep sense of satisfaction for what I've done with the last 10 years of my life. I'm not saying it's perfect. There's tons of shit I've done wrong and need to be fixed, but in terms of that chapter of my life, God damn, it feels good. It feels really good, and I feel so happy with myself. I can always look back on this and know that I gave it my best and I did what I came out to freaking do. Yes! Anyways, where does this put me? What am I doing next? I don't know, but we'll see. I don't know. This is kind of a weird video. Anyways, I don't know. Well, here I am. This is what he didn't know. Well, he maybe knew that he was going to compete one day and he wanted to win that championship still. I could see it in his eyes. But here we are. And again, I'm going to tell you, I don't know, but I do feel like this does put a nice closure on this whole chapter of my life. Will I still be doing memory stuff? Of course, but maybe I'll step back and kind of go back to, organizing events, which I did for a little while, and maybe that's my future. I don't know. Competing, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm tentatively retired, is what I'm gonna say. And with that, another weird video, kind of aimless here, but hopefully gave you a little insight into what the championship was like for me. subscribe, like, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.